News Talk 1000 WKDE Altavista. News, weather, sports, and information all day long.
Good morning. I'm Megan Lucas, Economic Development Director for Altavista, Virginia, and host of It's Your Business, the area's new and only talk show on topics such as economic development, urban growth, business expansion, and real estate development. If you work in the Altavista, Central Virginia economy, or if you care about the local community, you'll love the fascinating topics and guests on It's Your Business. You'll hear a new show on the first Saturday morning of each month and reruns throughout the month. You can also listen to it online at kdcountry.com. Just click on the It's Your Business advertisement. As the community grows, it's becoming more and more cosmopolitan. The transformation from good community to great community makes a lot of exciting talk. It's Your Business will explore exciting topics related to the Altavista and the Metro's future development. We're proud to have First National Bank, Altavista and Lynchburg's premier commercial bank, as our sponsor of It's Your Business. We're pleased to have them on board, and more importantly, we're really pleased to have them in all of our communities. This morning, right out of the chute, we've got Carroll Shelton, Senior Vice President and Chief Credit Officer at First National Bank. Carroll, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, Megan.
How's everything going at First National Bank?
It's going extremely well.
So how long have you been with First National Bank?
It will be 40 years in the 1st of July.
So a short time.
Short time.
Just a short time.
Just a short time.
Well, how are the businesses? Or do you have a lot of customers right now? Are you able to help them?
We are. We have a wide variety of services, both deposit and loan functions, and we're able to help them. We have a lot of cash on hand right now, plenty of money to lend. Just hope the business continue to improve in town so we can lend it all out and help them and help us.
Boy, there's nothing better for economic development than a bank, and First National Bank, that has plenty of cash to lend out to businesses and individuals who want to grow or expand an existing business or start one from scratch.
Well, that's exactly right, and we're extremely pleased right now to have our upcoming branch down at the Vista branch in front of the shopping center that's going to be open, hopefully in the month of May. It burnt down last year on the 10th of April, and our goal was to get it back up in about a year, and I think it's looking extremely nice. We were not able to put back the exact same footprint we had last time, but we've improved that. It's bigger, more drive-through lanes, more lobby area, more foot space in there, and we're looking forward to having that facility up and facilitating all our services for the customers here in town.
I can't wait for it to open. It's been exciting watching it, watching the new building being built. Of course, I drive by it every morning, and I just get so excited when I see it and I see the progress. And like the economy, progress is good, and certainly seeing the new branch come back is it's been empty on that corner. We've missed you.
No, well, we've missed being there. Although we were fortunate to be able to go and open a temporary site down in the shopping center, but we'll be able to relocate to this site. And as we come by, and I looked at the footprint of that thing and the blueprint. And as it has been built, we have seen that come up, and it's really gives a very good impression. I think it's one of the premier buildings here in town, and we look forward to be able to provide all of our services to our customers there.
Well, it is a premier building. It's beautiful, and we're so grateful to have you in our community. What is it that the community can be doing for First National Bank?
Well, I think the main thing is that from the community standpoint, they can just check out our services. They can go to our website. They can come in and talk to any of our representatives. We have a full array of those services, and one thing that we at First National try to do is extraordinary customer service, and we feel like in the local market that we have an edge on that because we have long-term knowledgeable employees. We have a family-like atmosphere, and over the years we've been successful. 108 years in business here in town, one of the oldest businesses in town. And I've been very pleased to have been a part of that for the last 40 years.
So it's 108 years old, and you've been with them for 40 years.
For 40 years. Actually, when I went to work there, I'm the last one from the original crew that when I started there. But I've been pleased. The bank has been a very stronghold, I think, for the community throughout the years. We have probably the largest employee participation throughout a number of activities throughout the community. I believe at last count we had something like 53 different organizations that our employees participated in the community. We have a lot of community service. We support the local schools. We provide support for the local chamber. We feel like that we provide an attraction for anyone looking for a home or a business in the Altavista market, as well as in Region 2000, because over the years we have expanded not only in the Altavista market, but to the Lynchburg market, to the Amherst market, to the Forest market, to the Rustburg market. And so we feel like that, our footprint now is Region 2000, just not Altavista.
Absolutely. And we are a strong part of Region 2000. And we're going to talk to Brian David here shortly about that. But I really do appreciate First National Bank's interest in the radio show, It's Your Business, your support for economic development in Altavista and in Region 2000. Certainly we appreciate your support. And I got to say, I went to the Harlem Ambassadors basketball game in March, and it was fun to see First National sponsor and playing.
Yeah, I told our bank president, I just hope he didn't go up there and get hurt.
Well, it was fun to see Mr. Hall and Sean playing, and they had some good shots, and they knew how to handle the basketball. So I was impressed. So they can handle all our money, and they can handle the basketball on the court, too. So that says a lot about First National.
Yeah, we have a very talented crew at First National who not only can play basketball, but even have a lot more banking expertise than that.
Well, you know what? That's funny you should say that, because I don't think either one of them made any bank shots. But well, Carroll, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Really do appreciate First National Bank, and everybody out there listening. Keep an eye on the new branch that's coming up here in Altavista. Make sure you swing in and visit it. And if you're an account holder, stop in and say hello. If you're not an account holder, stop in and open an account. And certainly, if you're a business or industry looking to expand, First National is the place to call.
We certainly do appreciate that, and we'll be there waiting for you.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
So glad this morning to have to introduce all of you to Brian David. Brian is Executive Director for Region 2000's Economic Development Council, and has been really helpful to me as I have transitioned from Nebraska to the great Commonwealth of Virginia, which I'm, getting the hang of a state versus a Commonwealth. Brian, thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning, Megan. It's really a pleasure to be with you, and particularly you will perk up the morning, certainly.
Well, I hope the listeners get perked up by listening, too. Region 2000, people hear about it. You've got a very recognizable logo, but what is it? What really is Region 2000? And what's 2000?
Sure. Let me start with the 2000. It's not the year. If you look at our region, and I have to kind of get a little bit of the detailed data kind of in the Census Bureau mode, it's called a Metropolitan Statistical Area, MSA shorthand. And our metro area consists of Altavista, Campbell County, Appomattox County, Amherst County, Bedford County, Bedford City, soon to be a town, and Lynchburg City. That entire area is called the Lynchburg Metropolitan Statistical Area. It's about 2,000 square miles.
Okay,
so the region 2,000 came from the size of our metro area.
Great. So when people say, what's your MSA, they're saying, what's your Metropolitan Statistical Area?
Yes, and much like Greensboro, Danville, Richmond, Northern Virginia, and the nation has about 200 large metropolitan statistical areas, and we're about in that 199, 200 area.
And then there are the super areas. What do we call Dallas? A metroplex?
A metroplex, where and these are ones
just
that
huge.
are 5, 10 million, on up. We're certainly not there, and I don't think anybody around here wants to get to that size.
No, I don't think we want to be a metroplex. We could just move there if that's something that we desire. So how long have you been with Region 2000 and the Economic Development Council?
I've been in this position for coming up on 5 years in May.
Right.
I came back. My wife and I lived here for about 5 years prior. From 2000 to late 2005, I was county administrator in Amherst County. And so we were very familiar with this area. I went to take another job as a county administrator. Like I always say, I've been run out of some of the finest communities in the state up outside of Fredericksburg. And my wife and I decided that we wanted to move back here to raise our daughters because of the quality of life here and the people were so great.
Right. Well, we're glad you're here. The community has benefited from your expertise. The communities you mentioned, Amherst, of course, Altavista, Appomattox, Campbell, Lynchburg, Bedford, all of them have economic development directors. Why is there a need for a Region 2000 Economic Development Council?
Arguably there isn't, but I think as a practical matter, you and I were fortunate enough to I played host to a new economic development director for the Commonwealth Center for Advanced Manufacturing. It's an offshoot of the Rolls-Royce project in Prince George. This gentleman was based in the United Kingdom, in the European Union. Huge market looking for foreign direct investment. Companies that are based in the European Union looking to invest in Virginia, particularly in Southern Virginia, which we're included in.
And particularly Altavista, which I communicated directly to him yesterday.
Often.
Yeah.
And well.
Yes.
But there is just a lot of noise in the marketplace. And in order for us to distinguish ourselves, we need to have one point of contact. And that's me, so that I'm the outward-looking contact to outside this region. And I think all the professional economic developers, you included, we work very well as a team, because if I receive a contact, an inquiry, or I find about something, then we work together to make sure that we meet those companies' needs, that we can offer a competitive location. And I will argue all day that our workforce here, Altavista, and in this region is second to none.
Right, I would agree with you. Well, I think it's great. You know, a lot of states, regional economic development groups in the past, I'd say five, maybe 10 years, have really come to fruition. And some communities don't participate in regional groups. Some communities have been successful. And I think that Virginia has been successful. How many regions? Because the state is divided into regions.
Right. I would say it depends on how you define a region, but there's probably a good 10 or 12 different regions in the state.
And those regions have some sort of regional point of contact for economic development.
Yeah, some of them have had long established ones like our region. This initiative has started since the late 80s.
Okay.
As a public-private partnership between the public, meaning local governments in the region, towns, cities, and counties, and the private sector, businesses. So our resources, our funding, come from investors that are private businesses as well as local governments, and they combine in a shared way to make sure that we can do things to not create jobs, because we don't create the jobs. I think what we do is try to create the atmosphere that gives competitive advantage to our existing businesses, and as well as new businesses that are looking to invest here.
So when, why don't you tell the listeners how a prospect gets to you and then to us?
Any number of ways. Part of my job is to go sell the region, and I do that any number of it's really relationship driven, and making sure that I'm known to the right people, at least at the state level, and to a degree nationally. And I'll give you two instances. One, pretty much our referrals for economic development prospects comes from the State Virginia Economic Development Partnership. And our region, our local economic developers and I are all known commodities down there. You and I went there a couple of weeks and had lunch with, I think, the senior leadership of the partnership, just to build those relationships so that when they think of meeting a company's needs that's looking to invest in Virginia, and Virginia is perennially the top state or near the top and is the best place to do business, then we naturally come to mind because of all of our advantages to this region. The other way is really just sometimes it's serendipity, but it works. I got a call from an economic development officer with the Canadian Embassy.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
About 3 months ago.
How about that?
Hosted a visit with her and her colleague because she had heard about Region 2000, our brand, and had heard of Roanoke, but didn't know much about Lynchburg, and I was fortunate enough to have them come visit, and we toured the area and kind of gave them a briefing on our economy and our demographics and things. That's all translating into where we're going to be hosting a mission trip of wireless communication companies that are located north of Toronto. About 6 of them will come and meet with a number of our wireless communication companies in this region at the Center for Advanced Engineering Research, which is one of our partner organizations in the partnership. to see if there's opportunities for cross-border investment and collaboration.
Which is great. So Region 2000, your role is really the collaboration and upward motion or upward mobility of marketing of the region itself. And then, of course, you really bring all of us economic developers along with you. And we really supplement, I don't know if that's the right word, but we supplement each other. It's not that as economic developers we get all our referrals from you, who get them from VDP. We're out there working our own channels as well. But large major companies typically go to the state departments of economic development.
Yes, because the state has incentives, and certainly we can talk about what those are. But the state has a pretty robust program, something that we just do not have the resources to duplicate on our own.
Right.
And so we have to rely on them a lot for this outward marketing. I would also say that economic development is also about making your incumbent businesses, those that are here, that are providing the jobs, as competitive as they possibly can be. And I think there's a changing thought in economic development professionals that trying to recruit new business investment is important, and you don't stop doing that, but making sure that your incumbent businesses, the businesses that are here creating jobs, are competitive, and that actually are opposed to grow, to create, because most jobs are created by businesses that are already here in Altavista. And Altavista is very blessed by having a lot of good, solid companies providing jobs.
We really are. I think our statistic is the industries that are committed to Altavista, currently in Altavista, contribute more than $75 million just in payroll to we refer to as the Altavista Metro, as you know, but we're lucky to have such a good, strong, 7 strong manufacturers and industries in Altavista, which is rare for a community our size. But we are lucky, and I think overall in Region 2000, we've got some really great industries and different sectors of strength. You mentioned the CAER,
right.
And that's been real beneficial in retaining some critical industries in the metro. Let's talk about that a little bit. How did the CAER come about? What is it?
Sure. Again, our group brings together public leaders, local government leaders, private business leaders, as well as education leaders, higher education leaders from the region. We're the place at a regional scale they come together to do initiatives that create a competitive advantage, that create the opportunity for business investment and job creation. And one of the things that these leaders recognized about 10 years ago, that if you look at the economies of university towns that have research and development as part of their core mission of the university, their economies really never drop. They don't fall. They may remain flat, but generally they're on a positive growth curve, that they're growing. And so what these leaders understood is that if we're going to remain competitive, we needed to emulate a research and development university environment for particularly 2 industry sectors that are huge employers in this region. The nuclear energy field, particularly with Riva and Babcock and Wilcox and all the supply chain companies that provide them goods and services, as well as we have about 20 to 30 wireless communications companies that have one way or the other back to the Ericsson, General Electric days and things. Those 2 business sectors rely on innovation, rely on research and development to create value in the marketplace. Their customers are generally not here in the region, they're elsewhere. And so what these leaders decided was, let's create a university research facility that allows these companies to do research, to create a competitive advantage that then can translate to sales, create jobs. And so the CAER was born. In addition to the university part, the CAER has become this kind of middle person, this broker, this ombudsman between industry here and Virginia Tech, UVA, James Madison, Liberty, VCU, a number of large research universities that are here in the state. So if a company has a research need, they go to the CAER. The CAER either will do it there, physically at the place in Forest, or they'll go and have that research commissioned at one of the state's leading research universities. Great. The company owns the intellectual property. They do everything, and it's a great solution. How that also helps us with you here in Altavista, or if looking at it regional, I've had a number of times companies coming and looking and making an investment in this region, may not have a lot of research needs, but may have some particular needs. They see it as a competitive advantage because, one, they don't have to go find the researchers at this university. Bob Bailey and the CAER folks will do that for them. And two, it creates this university environment that they wouldn't have otherwise had.
Right.
So that distinguishes us from other metro areas, particularly here in the state and nationally.
How long has the CAER been around?
It opened up in 2010.
Okay.
So it'll be coming, 2011. So it'll be coming up on 2 years this August.
Fantastic. And being highly used and...
Yes. Babcock & Wilcox has made probably now all told a $15 million investment there for their mPower, their modular reactor that is soon to start producing power by, I think, Tennessee Valley Authority is buying 6 of them.
Fantastic, fantastic. So Region 2000, you're the Economic Development Council. Is the CAER a council of its own? Is that the Technology Council?
The CAER, think of that as our R&D partner organization. Then there's my organization, which is the largest one. It has the greatest representation. I would also add on the Economic Development Council's board of directors, Altavista is ably represented by Rob Gillum, the former CEO and president of First National Bank. And then also Waverly Cogsdale, the town manager, serves on the board of directors. Again, that public-private partnership. Other partner organizations in Region 2000 are our local government council that help with the Main Street improvements here in Altavista. We have a technology council that does a lot of the STEM education efforts, the Lego tournaments and things that I know Altavista Elementary and Middle School have participated in.
There's been a recent announcement about STEM education, about STEM in our area.
That's correct. The Technology Council took an initiative of getting to with all 5 regional school systems, Campbell County and the others, and worked an idea that eventually has come to fruition as Accelerate is what the name is, but it's a regional STEM academy that'll be teaching good middle-skilled jobs, ones the machinists, the healthcare workers, the ones that are in demand by businesses here in this region, advanced manufacturers, and it'll create a governor school-like opportunity. And it'll be at CVCC's campus. It's the 16th one that Governor McDonald wanted STEM academies. This is the 16th one. He wanted 16, and this was the final one.
So we're the star on top of the tree.
And even more so is that this is the only one in the state that was regional.
Oh, fantastic.
All the other ones have been created by individual school systems. This is the first one and the only one in the state, and the last one under Governor McDonald's administration that was completely a regional effort. Again, getting back to our regional collaboration, which distinguishes us from other places.
Oh, it's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about Lynchburg. Your name has come up from time to time in the news about the possibility of a conference center around the mall. What role do you play in that, and what can you share?
Well, this is probably about, I guess, a 2-year type of process that I've been very good fortunate, and a lot of folks have given me, I guess, a lot of support to help facilitate and coordinate the analysis. And what it boils down to is Liberty University approached our partnership about collaborating on studying the feasibility of creating a civic center, something that this region has long desired since the 90s, of having a civic center, a place, an entertainment asset, quality of life asset. And Liberty, certainly through their phenomenal growth, and anybody that rides by there can see all the cranes
every day,
and all the red clay that's been turned up, has needs for an indoor venue. The Vine Center certainly meets convocation needs, but trying to switch out between weekly convocation and sports, it's just a difficult turnaround. And they've getting to the size where an indoor venue, much like their stadium, their football stadium, would complement their campus. And so Liberty University and Region 2000 partnered together to analyze the feasibility, the market, could this market support it if Liberty was the anchor tenant? And then if so, then what would the cost be, how it would operate, and who would own it? And Liberty certainly, and the Chancellor Falwell certainly put clear that Liberty would not own this facility, it would not operate it, it would be the anchor tenant, a long-term tenant, and which helped benefit them, but also benefited the region in that this could truly become a regional asset. So we started looking at, one, we've determined that our market can support such a venue with Liberty as the anchor tenant. Even given the fact of John Paul Jones in Charlottesville and Roanoke
sure.
and Salem, we feel that a state of the practice type of venue, modernized venue, can be very competitive in and of itself, and we may be able to even attract some market share from Roanoke and Charlottesville.
Right, and we have a good number of hotels, so that the conferences and conventions sort of opportunity.
What we also programmed into this, because if you're building this big of a facility, it's a lot of money. It's in the tens of millions,
Sure.
close to maybe 70, 80, 90, $100 million, is to build a 50,000 square foot conference facility to be co-located, because at that scale, adding 50,000 square feet of conference facility only creates more activity
Right.
on a more frequent basis than events at the facility. And two, we have a number of hotel rooms, and if people look at the map of the state of Virginia, we're about equidistant drive time for most population centers of the state. So we become a natural place for conferences and conventions
Right.
and such. And so we've studied it. We can see where the numbers are working, but we started and kind of suspended operation on this analysis about a year ago. Liberty was going through, obviously, a lot of decisions with their growth, and one of those was the acquisition of the Sears property,
Right.
the former Sears property, who had announced before Liberty acquired it that they were closing. So with the Liberty's acquisition of the Sears property, the direction is now moved to where we're going to adapt the feasibility study that we've worked on to that mall site, which is feasible. Is just from a massing size, it can fit on there. But it's going to be a lot of things because the mall owner has
Right.
to integrate it. People have to be able to go shop, plus the traffic issues. So I think good engineers will be able to come up with solutions to that, but we're just really very much on the front end of that.
And your role is really the coordinating these elements and getting folks on the same page and looking at what are the outstanding questions and how to answer. Is that correct?
Right. We have a working group made up of Liberty representatives, local government representatives, the city manager from Lynchburg, the county administrator from Campbell County, Dave
Great.
Laurel, are on that. But we also have corporate leaders from Arriva, Babcock and Wilcox, and Central on our working group as well, because they recognize a huge competitive advantage for them in recruiting
Right.
their employees and retaining employees here if this civic center is built as a quality of life asset.
Now, you and I have talked about this, and I'm sure everybody listening is thinking, that's great, and I think it's a great opportunity and need, but traffic in that area right now is not conducive to traffic. I mean, the infrastructure there is not the greatest. How is that going to be addressed? I'm sure it's going to be addressed. I mean, you're a planner, you know.
This just doesn't fall out of the sky and
Right.
happen. There's a lot of things that have to be analyzed, and you have to translate it into costs and whether it's feasible from a practical standpoint, as well as engineering standpoint, as well as a cost and financing standpoint. This facility is intended to stand on its own. It's not going to be subsidized. That the use will be paid for the operating expense, and then because of the taxes and the fiscal impact, there will be tax revenues generated off of the facility. I can comfortably say we're going to work through all those issues, and there's an underlying traffic issue out there right now that this will periodically do, but there's a lot, the best example I can give to people is John Paul Jones in Charlottesville.
Right.
Not exactly on an interstate highway, and I've been there a number of times for athletic as well as entertainment, and really have never had any problem getting in and out. Those are called soft fixes. Transportation demand management is the jargon, but it's trying to figure out reversible lanes, timing, satellite parking, a lot of things that then will help the experience, because the standard is that once an event's over, somebody wants to be in their way home by 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's our target.
Great. Well, we're running short on time, and I didn't even get to talk to you about the Oddfellows Interchange and the announcement, the talk about Liberty University and CVC doing a land swap. So we're going to have to get updates on those at a later time. But, Brian, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
Probably the best way is just region2000.org. Come to our website, and we're trying to be a portal to everybody. But if you want information or speak with me about any topic that you think I might be able to have some knowledge about, I'm more than welcome the calls. And I do appreciate this opportunity to be with you today. Altavista is a very, very special place. I've known that from my days in Amherst, and I'm committed to helping you be successful here.
Well, I appreciate that, and I like having you here today. I'm going to run through a few announcements for everybody out there listening, and then we'll sign off out of here. I want to let you know there's a few things that the Altavista Chamber of Commerce has going on, and if you are doing business in Altavista, or if your business is located in Altavista, then you really need to be a member of the Altavista Chamber of Commerce. You can reach the Altavista Chamber at 369-6665 or info@altavistachamber.com. But April 18th from 5 to 7, the Altavista Chamber is hosting a business after hours at Wells Fargo on Main Street in Altavista. And then on April 25th at 2 p.m., there's going to be a data access workshop where individuals and businesses can learn how to find data that you need to support your business plans, develop community needs assessments, target your clients, and even write a grant. The workshop is for businesses, it's for nonprofits, it's for governments, church groups, community groups, and even individuals. It's free and open to the public. You just need to call the Altavista Chamber to RSVP for that. The Altavista on Track, this season is on us for all their great activities, and on April 6th, we're going to have the first cruise-in on Main Street. So make sure you come on down after work on April 6th and enjoy the businesses on Main Street in Altavista, as well as get a chance to enjoy some pretty amazing cars. I wonder if Mr. Shelton, Carroll Shelton, will bring his car. The Lynchburg Chamber is also a great regional partner. You can reach them at 434-845-5966 or info@lynchburgchamber.org. Couple things they've got going I'd like to share with you. On April 17th, they'll have Workplace Wellness Lunch and Learn. If you're looking to reduce your company's healthcare costs, and who isn't, whether it's a small business or a large business, there are things that you can do to improve wellness in your company. Join the Lynchburg Chamber for a healthy lunch and a panel discussion on best practices in implementing workplace wellness initiatives, which really, if you've been paying attention to any of the news, is a hot topic. The Lynchburg Chamber will have businesses who have implemented work healthy practices over the past several years, and they'll have open-ended discussions. There's no cost to attend the event, but an RSVP is required by April 10th. So give the Lynchburg Chamber a call for that, 845-5966. Additionally, on April 24th is Administrative Professionals Luncheon and optional afternoon workshop. The Lynchburg Chamber is hosting that at the Oakwood Country Club. It's a lunch with keynote speaker, and for $32, or you can do the lunch and the afternoon workshops for $99. And again, those are activities brought to you by the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce. I'm Megan Lucas with the Town of Altavista, the Director of Economic Development. Thanks so much for listening to It's Your Business. If you have comments or like to be on It's Your Business, please give me a call at 434-369-5001, or you can email me, malucas@altavistavA.gov. Thanks so much for tuning in to It's Your Business. Have a great weekend.
With so many changes in taxes, healthcare, more legislation, and bureaucracy,
you need someone in the media to keep you ahead of Big Brother and Big Government.
That's why Herman Cain is on your radio.
Big Government is not our friend.
Herman Cain still speaks for you and for America.
Our founding fathers did their job. We must be the defending fathers, because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness will not mean a thing if we do not protect those ideals.
Herman Cain knows the inner workings of American business, the economy, government, politics, the Fed, and the IRS.
Real life experiences from business, politics, and life.
Now you'll hear him every day, coast to coast on your radio.
Listen to Herman Cain every weekday morning from 9 to noon on News Talk 1000.
Hi, this is Nick Federoff. On today's Things Green Garden Minute, we're going to take a look at garden sheds. But first, I always thought that I had a face for radio. Then someone said, hey, let's put that mug on television. And with that, a new gardening television show was born. Things Green with Nick Federoff. Hey, that's me. That's right. You can catch me on PBS in your local area. Just check listings to see what time it's airing. And if it's not, call up the TV station and ask them why not. And with that, I'll make sure that I help you keep things green. I like a good garden shed. Problem is, there are so many to choose from. Each year I attend a trade show that sports up to 20 different shed companies. You'd think 4 walls with a lid on it would be enough, right? The best part about a shed is they come in all types of shapes, materials, and sizes. I'm not fond of the 1960s styles tin shed with cheap and cheesy flimsy doors, but they're comfortable on the pocketbook. Modern sheds are built much stronger. Even poly sheds are durable with rigid doors. Now, custom sheds, they are the cat's meow. You have them built to match the decor of your home so it blends right in, or make it as ornate as the White House. Either way, you'll have to check with your local building codes to see what the rules are on how big a shed could be without having to buy permits. I'm Nick Federoff at today's ThingsGreen.com Garden Minute.
The Things Green Garden Minute, airing daily, Monday through Friday, on News Talk 1000 WKDE.